Hello and welcome to the fourth Ergo Community AMA. What a morning, what a morning. I rushed to get here so we could be 4 minutes late. How's that sound? We've got with us today, for starters, Dimitri, we've got Grayman, Kushti, Benzo, and anybody else that wants to join in the chat for the Ergo community. So lots of stuff happening this week, right? We threw stones at Goliath with our slingshot, I guess, again, with HTX saga going on. We printed some receipts for the conversation we had with them, which was, if people are not recalling, it was asking for, it was plainly and clearly taking their marketing fee and, revealing that it wasn't really a marketing fee because 30,000 would buy us 14 days with no delisting, and 100K would delay the delisting. So it's very obvious in their own words that these are extortion fees, and it's got nothing to do with marketing. So it's nice to have those receipts and publish them out there. That tweet didn't get quite as much coverage as the first tweet. I think we're probably only at like 15, 16,000 for that compared to the original tweet, which has got to be over 200,000 tweets now or views. So not quite as much, but it is what it is. So to build off that and back off that, we created a GitHub repo where we posted the receipts as well as some chat logs of that and asked the community to, not just the Ergo community, but the crypto community to, post their receipts, kind of like a WikiLeaks or something like that. And let me let somebody in the room here. So we're hoping that people stand up for themselves and the space and, expose these people that are just trying to extract value from any project that comes along, right? That's the awful part of it. We saw one tweet reply, I forget which project it was, but same thing happened. They actually announced that they paid $500,000 for a listing with HTX Global. And same thing, they were not sent a notice about being marked for special treatment, ST. And then they got the delisting notice and, of course, were stonewalled and blocked and not really communicated well by their person. So it seems like there's a systemic method, it's quid pro quo at those places where this is what happens. We put you in a corner without letting you know, really, not giving you a chance to meet whatever demands that they can come up with at any time they want to, by the way, and enforce them. That's on the contracts. And then put you in a corner to where you have no communication back to remedy anything because you didn't even know you were on special treatment list, and then meet you in the back room with, hey, here's $100,000 and you can stay delisted kind of thing. So it's disgusting.
Trust me, bro. None of that's going to happen. Don't worry, boss.
You got it. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. So hopefully if we get more people to join up and do that, that'd be great, just to have those receipts there so we can at least have a repository, if not in the current history, to have a repository in the future history, looking back of how dirty these things were in the infancy of the industry, right? So I'm really glad we have that. What else is new? Kushti, you around? Well, what's new on the developer front? What's new in your corner?
Yeah, a lot of things. So, Sublocks, DevNet progression. Feel free to join maybe in a few days. So, there's some issues to be fixed, but yeah, not so many. Actually already left, and testing, bombing the DevNet with transactions, initial support of input blocks in mempool and wallet, nodes wallet, mostly done. So yeah, proper progression there. Also doing some more demos of Ergo script possibilities with coding agents in form of example tests. So yeah, well, now working on global transfer policies kind of script, and then yeah, also iterating slowly our full-fledged bulletproof verification, which would be another nice example of capabilities of the core protocol in regards with providing a platform for cryptographic applications. Then yeah, also doing also with coding agents mostly a demo of basis trackers of chain cache. So tomorrow we'll meet developer of Telegram wallet. So then yeah, I think in a few weeks we will have demo to be used around different communities, like human communities, as well as AI agents and peer-to-peer networks. So possibly, I think, well, in long term, to replace many so-called DePIN cryptocurrencies tokens, because yeah, well, in most cases they are not needed simply, I believe. Then yeah, also checked recently with Git Circles guys. Maybe they will provide updates in developers chats on their own. So yeah, it's progressing well there as well. So in like a few weeks also they will start promoting for more once the initial prototype is done. Around Reddit and other developer communities, developing circles, different framework focused communities, and so on. So yeah, it looks good. I think well, we need to get people from outside crypto, right? Because well, this crypto space is now mostly about some weirdest kinds of speculations. So it's better to get developers right, and yeah, well, people willing to build digital economies for real, as well as real world, like local economies and so on. Then yeah, also well, there were two fundraising campaigns done. I don't quite know by whom even, but yeah, well, now it seems well, there are like 7,000 ERCs in my wallet, so 2K already there, and 5K will be released in a few days. So like that's need to check. So that's quite great. So I've assigned first bounty in Sigma Rust repository to have full-fledged implementation of Ergo tree interpreter in Rust, after all, with the help of that bounty in particular. And yeah, so we'll publish a plan on spending this 7 key. Then what else we have is that use so DEXI-based USD stablecoin coming. So still discussions mostly, but yeah, we have a clear plan how to deliver, and yeah, all the technical parts there. So it's mostly about discussions, politics, holding update keys, and deciding rules about well, when to bond those keys, what are the rules, right, and so on. So yeah, mostly it's mostly about humans and not technicalities. So yeah, I think that also would be it's probably think right to bring people from outside, but now from crypto. So Rich's idea is to use it outside of the Ergo ecosystem mostly, right, and use it mostly because of efficient arbitrage possibilities he's seeing there with DEXI design. And then what else? So yeah, well, if Joe around, there are a lot of exciting things on his side in regards with runes and on.
Joe's not awake yet.
All right, so. Yeah, it seems a lot of things happening there, right? And
yeah, really exciting. They've got they've got a
Bitcoin.
I know, it's amazing. They've got a technique to bridge it the other way too. You know, when Rosen first started out, right? Some of you may not know that typical Rosen swaps from chain to chain is you can bring coins or tokens from either chain to either chain. But with Bitcoin, it was a one-way bus, right? You could bring Bitcoin to Ergo or Cardano or Ethereum or Binance, and it would be Rosen BTC, but nothing could go back. So they developed a technique to be able to bring back tokens and coins onto Bitcoin itself by using the Rune protocol. So yeah, super, super cool, super exciting to have that there.
Does that facilitate atomic swaps?
Can you atomic swap? I think you can atomic swap runes, can't you, Kushti?
You mean atomic swaps available our runes? I think so. So there are actually multiple atomic swap efforts on Bitcoin and other UTX cryptocurrencies right there. So tomorrow I will join Komodo folks. Yeah, and they have some atomic swap based decks. The only thing is, still those things are not quite popular, unfortunately, right? Well, regardless self sovereignty and so on, but it is what it is. So, I personally would be happy to provide even some liquidity, right, and so on. But yeah, well, it seems it's quite complex, right, still to do all these things, and it's not quite popular, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
So for atomic swaps, we had demo of private atomic swap made with Bitcoin Cash even before Bitcoin supported Schnorr signatures, but yeah, Bitcoin Cash already did that. And then Jason Davis made demo back in 2020, but yeah, still it's. And I saw Lightning swaps and so on, but yeah, only demos. Nothing popular, I know. And our guy, Death Gripson, made some too for atomic swaps, right? Also, but yeah, not sure if it's finished even, but yeah, well, in general, a lot of such tooling around, but yeah, mostly in prototype form, and yeah, even if it's quite finished, polished, then yeah, still not popular.
Yeah. Well, guys, let's get to let's hit a couple dev updates real quick before we continue on with the discussion, eh? All right, let's see what we have here. Let me just arrange my screen a little better. Perfect. So first up, we have Nautilus. That's Anon BR. Added configurable ledger transport method supports. And Hermes added Ergo node client, now working on mempool tracking. Kushti, what's Hermes?
I think if you go a little bit down, if you go a little bit lower, there is explanation about it.
There's an explanation. Let's see.
Yeah, sorry, mic was off. So, what's
What's Hermes by Nautilus?
sorry?
Hermes, right here. Hergmes. Added Ergo node
Oh,
client, now working on mempool track.
oh, yeah, maybe there is some discussion.
Yeah, I don't see anything. We'll have to reach out to him. Yeah, I don't see anything HQ either. Cool, cool. All right.
Let me read it for you. It's a real-time and mempool-aware box streamer on top of the index node. It was initially designed for machine of finance, but it will be generic enough to be used for any DApp and even to replace GraphQL on Nautilus.
So it's a mempool streamer. Is that what you said?
Yep.
Nice. You know, I think MGPy and Luca built something somewhat similar. They had to do that for SigmaLock because they wanted instant responses from the chain for the locking and unlocking mechanisms. So they built some sort of cache streamer as well for their backend. So it seems to be a need for that. That's really awesome. Very cool. All right, Ergo Protocol R&D, the rest he says, he's reviewing PR contract, made code coverage support for the PRD to test it, made PR with rules for a crush and coding agent, and Kushi's asking for reviewing 6.0 tests for Sigma, trying to finish bulletproofs, verification tests, still a lot of things ahead. So the cool thing about this update, Kushi, I think I saw you notify some nodes, some mining nodes, is no update needed, of course, but it is helpful to update to support the new protocol on the network, which is neat. Classic Ergo, where we have serious, amazing backwards compatibility with older nodes. Basis chain cache made raw demo of basis tracker server demo, improving it. He's discussing contract and possible extensions for it. And USC stablecoin, still planning deployment, will start issuing first needed tokens this week. We've got Rosen Bridge. They've created a root ES lint configuration for the app to ensure consistent coding standards. The app, they've put that configuration for the app to ensure consistent coding, same thing. They've improved the UI kit, and for the Watcher app, they had to put the ESL lint in as well. So Rosen Bridge, we've, as you saw, besides just the Cardano, they have other runes, of course. So we're not just focusing on that aspect of it, but full rune integration to Rosen, which is going to be very interesting to bring runes back and forth, not just mimicking tokens when they go over to Bitcoin, but bringing them onto other chains and actually having a marketplace and liquidity and those kind of things. It's going to be very interesting to see those break out. Chris, our trusty friend Chris, has added Javanese support and Malaysian support to the Nautilus wallet. It's always great to have those in many languages for the global thing that Ergo is. Joe Samai is making game of prompts, judge system done. He's been seeing some issues. If the judges have a lot of opinions, so he's updating the rep system again. The current implementation asks for 20 to 50 participants, which is great, but should be able to be unlimited, so they're going to try to improve this. We've got IOSpore with NetNotes Engine. They're working on async stream parsing. This is for storing bundled sensitive information like transaction history. Let's see. Here's an explanation. The way it works is that you request a file from the factory with a wallet ID as the initial string. The factory then makes sure it looks in the bucket that is associated with the calling application, for example, the wallet application, and then all the wallet addresses above the wallet application and that wallet ID would share the same root. Oh, very, very neat. So if you want to delete the root wallet and the child wallets will also be deleted. You know, this is neat. So we talked about, a year or so ago, I talked with our identity advisor here at Cornell about this kind of, I call them vampire strings, all right? So the idea is if we're providing identity for people, right, and somebody up the chain is a bad actor, how can you guarantee that the identities provided by that actor are good, right? So you cannot trust the identity bestowed down lower in the chain of that bad actor. So you have to seize those identities, right? In current AD structure, that's difficult to do, right? Because there's one identity for provider, it's federated, right? But in this vampire logic, right? If you kill the head vampire, everything after the vampire should vanish. So I think that's a way that crypto can really help out with identity, right? So if multiple actors are deploying identity and granting access, you find a bad actor, boom, you blow it up, everything underneath is on hold until it's rebuilt, right? So really neat concept for that. Let's see. And that's it for dev updates. Very cool. Very cool. So we got a quick question in chat. Let's jump right onto that. T-Rog says, is there any concern for similar delistings for other exchanges, or has HDX been an outlier for demanding this marketing fee? Marketing fee, $1 million, right? So I don't, in my mind, that never crossed my mind, right? I think HTX is probably, from what I've heard from the backroom chats, from people dealing with HTX, is over the past month, they've started really twisting the knife, right? They've set these unfair changes in liquidity and volume and pushed them on people without notifying them, and then threaten delisting. And I honestly think it's to, chat in the comments is because Justin's son is cash poor. It does almost seem like there's a directive from the top that says we need to make money fast. Let's make it quick. So I think that's what HTX is doing, and they're only going to burn themselves and hurt themselves. So no, I don't think there's a concern for smaller delistings for that kind of thing. HDX seems to not care at all. Even our contact in the chat just has stopped replying at HDX. They're brazen, they know what they're doing, and they're just hoping that you guys forget about it. And that's it, and they'll continue to do that. That's typically what they do. So the idea is don't forget about it. We'll keep the repository up, and we'll make them remember every single time, just like Pepperidge Farm, right? So no Trog, T-Rog.
Yeah, so I will start to reach journalists today. So we need to get maximum exposure, right? So they're doing our own business. So I still think it's not extortion, likely push for bribery, right? And it's not about liquidity or volume. So based on who's got delisted, so Ergo, Komodo, and Firo. So Firo, was totally fine, and so it's not about liquidity or volume. So I mean, it's something different, but I don't know principle, but let journalists maybe do their business now, right? And we need to get exposure. We need to get interest, right? Traffic and so on. This is the best thing we can do at the moment. And then about liquidity exchanges. So I had a talk and also discovered recently that for some exchanges we already can get some big centralized exchanges. For example, BitGet. We can get exposure basically for free just by providing liquidity, whether on Ethereum LP or Binance Smart Chain, right? So then I think Binance will catch up, right? So just there is need to effort to provide liquidity on BSC pool. Right, and at some point they will catch up, and Coinbase already showing base LPs on centralized exchange interface, right? So then let's hope base will be supported by Rosen soon, but yeah, well, there is no need to wait for anything right now. So let's consider whether to pull on Ethereum and Binance Smart Chain, so I can put a little bit as well, right? And with that, with some funds in the pool, so the AI filter, so they using some AI filter to filter out some I don't know, fake LPs and all that stuff, right? So yeah, it will be shown in the centralized exchange interface, and yeah, BitGet is much bigger than HTX, like 10 times now, because HTX is in decline, right, since 2022, and yeah, BitGet is on the rise, and yeah, especially for last 1 year and a half, so it's probably number 3 now globally. So after Binance and Bybit, BitGet is number 3. Yeah, not sure about the US, but yeah, well, globally it's well recognized now, and we can get there without any listing process, right? Just via Binance pool, for example, Binance Smart Chain pool or Ethereum. So yeah, well, we need to decide something and put liquidity just. Then yeah, the same probably will work for Binance at some point. So all the centralized exchanges are now going to syndicate centralized exchange and decentralized exchanges liquidity, right, under the same interface. So
Right.
BitGet and Coinbase already done with that, and yeah, I think others, so Bybit and Binance, who else? OKX will catch up, right? So yeah, that's the way we can get everywhere for free, basically, right? In form of rep tests, but then in case of some active trading, we can get on a centralized exchange, right? So we can get native integration as well.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, let's discuss that after the call, maybe in Ergo trading. But yeah, I had a talk with BitGet lady and yesterday, basically, and yeah, it seems it's the best way to move forward, right? So we need to choose some pool, fill it with liquidity, so I can put some. We can ask some known whales and so on, right? And once we got through AI filters, and once we get some traction interests, right? So we can get native integration as well, right? But yeah, well, wrapped version would be good. And yeah, the same talk with Kraken, right? So it was about listing wrapped token, but Kraken is still using some ARM centralized solution, right? So they're not automatically pulling all the tokens from decentralized exchanges like BitGet and Coinbase are already doing.
No, correct. And Kraken also has, we know a brief outline of what Kraken wants from us. So we just have to hit that. That's all, I think, and reapproach them. I think we've announced that several times. So Kraken isn't a black box, at least that. They would like to see holders and liquidity on the token they want to list. I think Ergo itself is probably a bit away from that. But as you guys may know, that Ergo on another chain with Rosen is Yeah, Grayman bought us RS Ergo, he says in chat, is a better possibility in the immediate. So yeah, Kraken would be amazing for Ergo, I think. There wasn't too much traction on the votes up at Padilla for Rosenbridge. I think that's an issue with. I think every chain has that issue, right? You have a lot of participants that are passive bystanders, right? Passive investors, we call them. That's something that really, really needs to change for these kind of things to succeed. So if you guys are just tuning in, you're unaware of that vote, go to Padilla and look up the Rosenguards, and you'll see a vote to spread Rosen Erg liquidity over Cardano, so that we can reach their requirement for Kraken listing on Rosen Erg. Yeah, because holding Rosen Erg, right? If you're just holding, theoretically, there's not much difference of holding Rosen Erg or holding Erg. If you actually want to utilize the ecosystem and participate, that's when you hold Erg and use it, actually. But for silent partners, as Grayman says, that should be an entry point at Kraken that's perfectly suitable. One thing I forgot to mention is I saw Heroes joined us from Twitter, but Hero is the dev on Cyberverse, and there's an update last week that we missed because we were all chatting too long about the drama. So let me just hit this. For those of you who don't know, Cyberverse is down for the month. They're doing a massive upgrade with like P2P combat, that kind of stuff. So it's really, really exciting when this comes back. They've worked on the stat system backend and combat testing. They've synced stats with the server. Example 50 EGI boost speed instantly. Oh, that's awesome. Combat testing, fighting high-level enemies now clearly shows stat differences. Stronger enemies equals harder fights. Core system, they've leveled up resets HP and gives +1/+1 skill point. Stats window, spend points, build your citizen. Nice. Inventory, equip, quick use, manage items, and skills window, learn from books, level skills, and points. It's I think the treat that we have in Ergo here is that well, maybe, I don't know if it happens in other ecosystems, but you can get close to these projects, right? We can get in the dev update. We can see these projects go. We can talk to Pixel, Mr. Pixel. We can talk to Hero, and you get to. It's almost like a child, right? You can see this infant from what Cyberverse started on back in the day, when it was just Ergo integration, and you see it grow into something like this, and it's interesting to look back and remember what it was like playing this game back in the day and where it's come and where it's going. It's amazing to be part of that and see those kind of things grow. Okay, where are we next? Let's see. Do we have any questions in chat? There was chat in the chat about Erg, who's right below us in the Zoom, was interested in, what's it called? Working on some sort of academy buildup again. We used to have something called DECO, which was, do we remember what that stood for? Decentralized college or something like that, right? Was that it, Kushti? Grayman? Anybody remember?
DECO, decentralized coordination.
Coordination. Okay. All right. Thank you. So that was fantastic. There's a lot of videos there on that, kind of like basic beginner erg devs and that kind of thing. So yeah, it would be very awesome to get that started up again. There's a lot of videos, and happy to help with the AI method that I said before about integrating those videos as well. So whatever you're bringing up, AERG, we can hit it with all the past searchable and linkable bookmarks in the AI model, so students can hit the ground running with that. So yeah, that's going to be amazing. That is. What else? Anybody got anything else? I've been talking a lot, so it's Kushti. Kushti? Grayman?
Yeah, a lot of things going on. So yeah, well, there are some guys looking for developers, so we need for more developers, guys. So if you know some, please bring. So well, I brought a few in recent months, but yeah, well, there is need for more all the time. So If anyone is willing to promote Ergo around development circles, yeah, let's consider some campaign. I would be happy to participate also. And yeah, so I think there is needs to promote Ergo differently, right? So not as crypto, or whatever it's called these days, crypto. I know. So these days it's quite confusing to me. Right, but yes, platform, foundation, global, neutral settlement layer for building digital economies, right? For humans, human communities, developing communities, as well as AI agents, right? And well, incentivizing peer-to-peer networks. So yeah, well, a lot of use cases which are handled by others in quite loosey ways, right? So yeah.
I think amongst the economist community, most people that are not already involved in crypto are somewhat disinterested or maybe standoffish towards crypto in general, just because the way it's been presented, with the idea that Bitcoin's going to replace the dollar and hyper Bitcoinization and all this other shit. It just sounds cartoonish to them. I mean, economists don't have a very firm soapbox to stand on when it comes to being credible academics. They wouldn't want to have anybody challenge that in the press, but the truth is most economists at the top of the food chain don't really think of their field as being entirely pure, and hasn't been for a long time, since computers came around and made it possible for the application of statistical methods instead of actual thinking. But now we have cryptocurrency, which makes it so that instead of just having statistical methods, you actually would have a way to track the money as it's being spent. And if they really want to turn economics into a science, then they should embrace it. But there's a long road between here and there. And most of the people that are in that field are going to visualize using some computer. So they think world computer like Ethereum. So they're all trapped in bullshit land over there. But really what it's about is redefining money and then building that from the ground up. And I don't see any project that's doing a better job of that in general than Ergo. I mean, in some specific ways, like, for example, CASPA is just sort of hyper-focused on speed. But until they win the race and get global adoption, that's a whole lot of speed going nowhere. There's barely any transactions. Whereas in Ergo, we have a much more broadly focused concept of what money is and how it can be exploited using a deterministic approach rather than this kind of open-ended world computer approach of the Ethereum world. And economists eventually will understand that and embrace it, but it's going to take a long time for that to become apparent, and a whole lot of soldiering on our part before they'll take any real interest. So you just have to keep chipping away. There are a few people like Rubini or Steve Keen is the one that I keep trying to plant seeds in his mind, because in my opinion, he's the guy who has sort of the best understanding of how the current system works and how we should go forward. But he's also somebody who earlier in his career was academically interested in cryptocurrency and posited several interesting ideas that at this point he would probably look back and say were young and naive on his part, like thinking about having instead of having a carbon tax, having a separate currency for purchasing gasoline or other rationed products, which would then trade on its own market. And it would give you a way to create an economy that would reduce the consumption of certain commodities that were used like that. I mean, this is something that he wrote about 15 years ago, maybe 12 years ago. And you could actually contemplate making currency systems for nations based on Ergo. That's why it fascinates me, but there's very few people that are in that academic community that are just going to immediately leap to that because it's so far outside of their realm of thinking. And because most of the people that are coming from the crypto world are yelling at them that inflation is stupid and why wouldn't you have a fixed number of atoms of gold as the basis for your currency and all this other stuff, and they just laugh and walk away. But with something like chain cash and derivatives that can be built on top of it, that's a whole new ball game. And eventually they're going to have to get on the field because we're going to make them. So, oh, and I had a question about chain cash for Kushti in the chat. The question was, can chain cash protocol be instantiated in a limited form where only a certain type and collateralization of notes can be issued, like on an accepted standard? So instead of having a more generalized free banking type system, can you implement it in a way that it would only work with certain types of collateralization ratios and denominations?
Oh, so that's left to the party which is accepting, right? So you can accept only chain cash nodes which are backed by particular assets, right, and also sets on collateralization level. So that's I think the whole point, right? So every party is having individual risk profile, and then it's not enforced around the system, and then the system is not hopefully failing fully, right? So like in 2008, the whole financial system with pretty much the same parameters everywhere failed, right? So some circles could fail, right, in times of crisis, but more conservative actors would stay at the same time.
I'm specifically thinking about this idea of this silver cents, these this currency based on and tied to the existing United States constitutional silver currency that's all around this country, and having it so that the chain cash implementation of the on-chain version of that would only be acceptable from vendor to vendor and customer to vendor and customer to customer, even if it followed a certain protocol. So you couldn't just start issuing things that people, I guess that you already answered the question.
But
you have to create an interface that makes it so that the customer understands that they're getting silver cents. So you have to have a specific token ID for the silver cents. So
but in this particular case, right? So if you wanna to build some monetary circuit, right, within the whole chain cash system, so you can just make some default config, right, for chain cash servers and spreads, right, around that silver circle, and that's a default config would set, right, particular token ID and collateralization level. Maybe then it's possible to change collateralization level individually also, but probably most of users would just use default value, right, as usually happen.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately there would be a for-profit part of it that would roll out apps on iOS and on Android, because there's no peer-to-peer on-chain activity without mobile phones. Let's be real. It's especially if you're trying to go for some sort of a local exchange trading system, you need to have people be able to just pull out their phones and get a transaction done. So, and that's not going to happen without some company structure and whatnot. So there'd have to be sort of I don't know. Sorry, I'm thinking out loud about this whole thing. I'm trying to write it up.
Yeah, that's much needed. For now, the idea is to get some working demo as quickly as possible, and then maybe try to use it over some I don't know, like fairs. How's that's called? Like for free trading events, flea
Yeah,
market.
like a festival. I understand. We have flea market, swap meet, that type of
Yeah, yeah,
thing.
yeah. Yes, and then to try to do some flea markets kind of events, right?
The other thing, while I have you on the subject, just if you could quickly comment, it seems to me when you were initially proposing this idea that there would be a reputation system involved for people that are writing these notes. And I don't know, is that true? And has progress been made in other projects like your Sammy's work on reputation system that could be applied there? Because it strikes me that in the way I envision it, you'll have these vendors who are accepting silver in payment, and then they can also accept this on-chain version. And so these vendors effectively act as a distributed bank because they are the ones with the pools of silver change in their safe and then taking it home and eventually turning it into dollars or erg or whatever they want. But they are the ones who are essentially holding the larger pools of capital. And so it's a distributed form of banking, sort of old school way, except with standardized notes. And they're standardized based on these physical tokens that already exist and are already widespread. So the question is, if you have only partially collateralized notes and it comes to a situation where somebody decides to skip town and head to Mexico, right, with their US coins and melt them down, and the people who are holding their notes are left holding the bag, and so they want to redeem them, and they get part of their collateralization back, presumably, but they're still out some. And they're pissed. So how do we make it so that guy can never come back? I guess that's impossible because they're going to be anonymous. I don't know. This is a reputation system seems important for this, because if you're going to have a bunch of distributed competing vendors and banks that are not just selling banking services, but are also restaurants or farmers or, barbers or whatever, right? They're all going to have multiple incentives and whatnot. You need to have a way to keep track of how well they handle the banking part. Do they redeem their notes when asked for coinage, right?
Right. So then, I think it's the next step, right? So you can build reputation only based on some trading history. So then, so the idea is to launch something, right? And then see how to
Gotcha.
build some, kind of reputation system, which is basically some summary, right, of transactions history. Right, that's all what we have here without, I don't know, like
I think
control from state, like standards and.
I think there needs to be a way to challenge their reputation and a way for them to defend it, and for those actions to be taken on chain with deadlines and whatnot in order to prevent it from being scammed.
Yeah, so there could be some agents maybe which are incentivized to do such probing, right? That's quite interesting. So, let's think on this shortly, hopefully.
I'm going to go and research what Yosemite's been up to, because I haven't really paid any attention.
And Yosemite did some reputation system for payments for his peer-to-peer network Chillout. But actually, I think it's quite, I don't know, like parallel effort, right? So instead of using some reputation system to provide credit, you can just use this chain cache, right, to provide credit. So it's also kind of reputation system per se. So. But need to take a look, maybe some combination is possible. Need to take with Yosemite also about that. He's quite active and around, and actually, we discussed to bring those basis payments into basis as kind of chain cash into chill out peer-to-peer network, because I think it's quite interesting. Currently there are a lot of so-called deep in projects, right, with total market cap of 20 to 25 billion USD, and most of them do have some broken economies, releasing tokens in a way that they are just going down, right, because of oversupply. So the idea is that now we can tie, right, supply with demand by using just some off-chain cash powered by Ergo reserve. So there is no need for additional tokens, just Ergo and Ergo tokens, right, would be enough. So let's continue discussions over chain cash. Probably we took much time already.
Yeah, just a couple questions, Christy. So in regards to chain cash, would it have a separate project with its own marketing budget and marketing team? Would you be focusing on this, or?
Yeah, so there will be no token, right, for sure, because I don't like to issue tokens at all when they're not needed. But there is need to do some marketing, right, and marketing.
Is it reasonable to say that if Ergo is a platform, that chain cash is a protocol, and that it is a protocol that will be used by people to create applications, and that those are what need the marketing?
Kind of. So Ergo is kind of reserve asset, right, and smart reserve asset. So it's allowing for different protocols to be built on top of, right, and then we have chain cash as monetary expansion tool, right, because for being useful for real economies, you need for some kind of monetary expansion. And that's quite different, as you said, right, from all the crypto. And I think that's quite a fork of Bitcoin community idea space, let's say, of 2010, basically, right, 2011. So initially they had a lot of discussions, right, how can you build electronic cash, right, when emission is strictly set into the protocol. And that they had some discussions, but later somehow the focus shifted to some secondary issues such as TPS, right, and whatever. Now they are having hot debates over just some parameters in the protocol clients, but the original talks forgotten, right, and revived here. And those talks, I believe, are the most important, right? So how to use high quality base assets, so Ergo, right, proof of work assets to build better money, right, for digital and real world economies.
So there was one other question that was mentioned on the YouTube stream from EAOK, asking any thoughts on the infinite pitch deck that he shared, or they shared, in the dev Telegram.
I need to check. So
sounds like We need to follow up in the dev telegram.
Yeah, so actually, yeah, yesterday I was occupied with quite a lot of talks with that BitGet lady, and had a nice talk with Bruno and so on. But yeah, in Infinite, yeah, from Yahokai, yeah, it's from yesterday, and it was in time of mine. So yeah, I was occupied with a lot of talks yesterday. We'll provide some feedback today a bit later after coding session. All right. We'll do you guys, anyone read it?
I did not. Do we have any other questions? We're coming up on the hour here. There was one other question I had actually earlier in chat, which was about the upcoming meeting in Colorado Springs, which I guess there might be somebody who's listening to this that could still get tickets or figure out a way to drive there in time. You're welcome to come if you can get there. Then there's going to be a lot of fun. One question that I had earlier, but I see that HQ is gone, was what facilities we're doing to make it so that that is going to be broadcast to the greater internet, but we'll figure that out. Tickets are not necessary. You're just welcome to come. We're going to open it up to the general public. We're going to try and put some flyers up in the local universities. Anybody who's interested and wants to come and listen and talk is welcome to come. It's permissionless, no tickets. It's Ergo. So
Okay, just making sure. You said tickets. It made me a little nervous. I was like, I thought I signed up correctly.
I meant plane tickets.
Okay, catch you.
So there's definitely one form of permission, which is just geographical permission.
Yeah, I was thinking about what you.
You got to have a place to stay. I got room for somebody to sleep on a couch in an Airbnb if somebody needs to crash, but there's hotels and everything around.
We're not recording no more, are we?
I think we are.
Oh, okay. I'll wait till we're done.
I think we're live. We should talk about it on the SIGS chat. Are there any other questions for this week's AMA, or should we wrap it up? Sounds like we should probably wrap it up. It was great talking to you all, and in another week we'll do it again.
All right, yeah, good chat, and so we have Colorado events in 2 weeks, right? So quite soon.
Yeah, coming up quick. It's going to be fun. I'm going to get to meet Bye.
Nice.
Before you drop off, great man, I had a question for you before you drop off.
Okay, sure. Hit me.
Oh no, you guys can end the chat. I wanted to ask.
Oh, gotcha. I think Andy is currently the owner, so I can't control it, but it's probably going to.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, we got to roll it out with the music. Goodbye, everyone. We'll see you next.